Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Karibuni sana. I was just trying to adjust something on my connection part, okay? Ay, ay, ay. It's been a long time. Anyway, let's talk, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. Where do I start? Kenyan politics. So much to talk about. ODM 20th celebration, 20th anniversary, or whatever the case is. Sorry, I'm coming out from a cold after my short trip somewhere, so I'm trying to readjust again to get my mojo back. That's what I'm trying to say. I hope you can hear me clearly. I have a sore throat, and So anyway, very quickly, I have something. Let me talk about the ODM 20th anniversary that we saw in Mombasa a few days ago. It's not news anymore, but news it is in relation to the direction where Kenya is heading. Now, there's a lot of debate about ODM, whether Ruto is in total control of ODM, and the split between ODM Asili and ODM, I don't know, regional Sijui Nini, the Babu Owino faction versus the Oburu faction, the broad-based faction versus, the young folks tracks within ODM, fraternity. Couple of things I want to say about this. I want to start with actually Winnie Odinga, because Winnie Odinga and Raila Odinga Jr. were at the event, and I saw they spoke twice for Winnie Odinga, that is. At least that's what I saw. And one thing I would say about Winnie Odinga is, if I was somebody close to her, I would advise her to sit out a little bit. Finish mourning your dad. When I say finish, I'm not saying, I feel like she's not healed up yet from the loss of her dad. I understand they were very close, and there were a couple of snippets, pictures, and where we saw Hassan Joho was actually trying to comfort Winnie Odinga when others were, giving their speeches, and you could tell that she missed her dad. And I would say, Winnie Odinga, if you're watching this, take a time off. You don't have to jump into politics right immediately after your dad's death. I understand it's only been a month since your dad is gone. Sit this one out. It's okay. Don't worry about political position. You will always have that. It's there. You have the name already, so you have that working for you. Well, it can work against you, but I'm just saying that's the advantage you have versus an average Joe who might be running for public office. Okay, so I would say sit this out because it's going to be a raggy road. It's a raggy road. Road is so hard if you know Capleton. And we saw this by what Alai was saying. And Alai didn't say anything wrong. I know Millie of the Ambo came out and was trying to, you know, check Robert Alai for what he said about Winnie Odinga. I don't think what Robert Alai said was wrong. He was simply saying that ODM should not and is not a family business, you know, operation or whatever the case is. Because, you know, I mean, if you look at it in reality, Robert Alai is right. I mean, Winnie Odinga, you came in talking about kuna watu wengine wanatembea na sisi mchana na wanataka kuuza chama usiku. You're saying that as who? You understand what I'm saying? Because you are the daughter of the former chairperson of the party. I mean, what gives you the authority to come out and say what you say? You know, you haven't earned your stripes, so to speak. So there, I think Robert Alai was very right to actually come out and say what he said. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at something here. Trying to make sure that I have all my stuff in Aninio. I know I'm trying to make sure that everything is okay. Okay, so for those of you, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, and comrades, let's get to it. I'm trying to get my mojo back. Like I said, I've been off for almost a month now, so I'm trying to get used to this again. I'm relearning doing this, and it seems like I'm not on yet. Okay, but anyway, I'll continue. So anyway, all right. Thank you. Anyway, like I was saying, Winnie Odinga, the first advice I would tell you, sit this one out. Let all these ramblings and fights, wakina Babu Owino, Sifuna, and all of those, watch out, Piganie Chama, let things just realign themselves as they will, or as they can, or how it pans out. Then you can jump on later on after you healed. Like I said, your dad hasn't been on the ground for more than 1 month, and you're already up there talking politics. You see what Mama Ida is doing? Mama Ida is sitting back and is receiving Wageni, people who are still coming to, you know, pay their homage. That's what we should be doing when you Odinga, okay? You and Raila Odinga Jr. Do not step on that podium talking politics, because politics is a big boy business, okay? There are people who put their lives on it. They had to suck up to your dad in order to get those positions. They had to sell their houses. They had to give money. They had to do all sorts of things in order to, you know, get those positions. And you could see this. You could see how Hassan Joho was very animated. Who else? Badi was animated. Babu Owino himself. You know, these people are really, they have ambitions. They've been eyeing for certain positions. So for you to come up as Raila Odinga's daughter and, you know, speaking on matters, you know, party politics, how you'd like things to go, they're asking themselves, like, who are you? Like, I mean, besides being Raila Odinga's daughter or child, what is your contribution to the party of ODM? You know, well, I mean, what's your track record? Just going to several mandamano with your dad or traveling with your dad does not qualify you to be somebody in there, okay? That's why there's also this resentment against Oburu Odinga's position as the new chairperson, okay? But again, we all know that ODM, it's a family business, okay? We might scatter around the bush or scatter around the issue, but that's the fact, okay? Raila Odinga was basically ODM, and ODM was Raila Odinga. And now that he's gone, obviously they are giving his brother, who is involved in the party politics, to kind of, you know, carry the torch, he doesn't have the same influence as Raila Odinga, but just for the sake of it, Oburu is going to have it. Now, I would say that Ruto is firmly in control of ODM as it stands right now. Forget the noise about Sifuna. Sifuna is just a noise maker. Sifuna anapiga makelele mchana, usiku he's with the program, okay? Like I always say, if Sifuna was really against broad-based government and really detested what, didn't like what the president is not happy with the president or whatever the case is, or anybody who's realigned to this administration which he does not agree with, at least that's what he's telling us during the daytime, Sifuna should have resigned by now, okay? If he was really against this broad-based government, Sifuna would have been resigned by now. But he's not resigning, okay? Because he wants to be part of the mix. He knows there's room for moving up the ladder, okay? Corporate ladder, so to speak, in ODM, within ODM. That's how he still remains relevant politically, okay? So he's not going to Nino, and he's going to be part of this broad-based Nino arrangement. ODM is going to be part of this. William Ruto is firmly in control of ODM. And I'll tell you why. I'll make this simple because, like I said, my gadget does not have a lot of juice, so I won't stay here for long. I will quickly brush through these issues. I'll tell you why. I know on the larger scale of, on the larger scheme of things, this whole ODM circus is nothing. I mean, it does not help Kenyans in their day-to-day lives. It does not help Kenyans liberate themselves from the tentacles of colonial oppression. Okay? So it's just entertainment. But the truth is, Ruto is firmly in control of ODM. I'll tell you why. If you see Joho, Mbadi, and others, go look at Joho's speech when he was basically screaming at the top of his voice because he feels like his position is threatened. He feels like he's going to be kicked out of the government, of the administration. He's basically fighting for his life. He wants to stay in government, in the cabinet. When I say government, I mean like the administration, the executive branch of the government, which is run by Ruto. Okay, if you look at Mbadi, he's doing the same. He's trying to convince you that hey, now we're in Serikal, Luos are having development because he's in there. Him and Oparanya and all these people that are in there. You could see the desperation in their voice, and we understand that Oburu is very close with Ruto. Oburu actually was always, even before Raila Odinga passed on, Oburu was always pro broad-based government, and he made no secret about it. I mean, even at some point they were speaking from different scripts with his brother before he died. But Oburu always maintained that we are now in broad-based government, and of all the broad-based government that ODM has entered to, this is the best one. Okay, so Oburu will politically stay very, very close to Ruto. Okay, he's in Ruto's pockets, and Oburu is now calling the shots with ODM. I told you ODM is a family business. Okay, so even though what's her name, the daughter Winnie, kind of was saying something that contradicts Oburu's position, you heard what Oburu said. Iyo maneno watatatua as a family matter. She'll call Winnie, they'll sit down, and they'll iron it out. And like I say, Winnie does not have any sway in ODM. She's simply the daughter of Raila Odinga. She does not have that resume. Her CV is not that decorated as far as political is concerned. Okay? Oburu, yes, he has his stripes. He was the senator of Siaya. He's the brother of Raila. He's been in politics for a minute, okay? So he kind of has that say, okay? And you see wakina Wanga, Mbadi, Junet, they've quickly gravitated around Oburu and made him the chairperson. Of course, there are people who are saying that this is not right. They should go to the NDC, whatever, National Delegate Convention, and have the delegates delegates vote on who's going to be the chairperson. That's what Winnie was saying. Babu Owino is basically echoing the same thing, and others. But when push comes to shove, Oburu will still stay the chairperson of the ODM, and he will steer ODM towards this this new. Yes, the only thing that really a voice that can really kind of derail things here is Orengo. But Orengo, like I said, Orengo has enough dirt on him. Ruto can always make that call and open up the cases regarding the Siaya impressed account that we were being told were looted. As much as 900 million was being looted in a week. So, so what I'm saying is this, in not so many words. Do not be entertained or be excited about the noise that is coming from the so-called the young folks who are opposing Oburu Odinga from being the chairperson. Oburu is firmly, not firmly in control, but Oburu is the spokesperson of the ODM party, and Oburu is in William Samoei Ruto's pockets. Is a loyal soldier of William Ruto. Okay, Ruto has already brought him on the in the frame. ODM is UDA now. Is under Ruto, firmly under Ruto. Babu Owino might be making noise, like I said, and Millie Odhiambo was kind of right when she was in that Fix the Nation, when she said Wakina Sifuna and Babu Owino, they're kind of playing this opposing this broad-based government because the Nairobi politics plays a part in it, which is true because Nairobi politics, the people in Nairobi do not want to hear about broad-based government. So it will only be prudent of Sifuna and Babu Owino to be opposed to the broad-based government if they are seeking re-election in Nairobi, whether it is senatorial position or the gubernatorial position in the case of Babu Owino. And that's why I'm saying Ruto holds the chips. Ruto is firmly holding ODM. Raila is gone. Okay, Raila was the boogeyman. Raila was the only person who would basically steer the country in a certain direction, regardless of who the president is, because he was the most influential Kenyan politician. He has the voice of the ground. Okay, but now that he's gone, money talks. All these politicians are all about money. It's all about money and interest and ambitions, personal ambitions. And it was very apparent yesterday what these guys' ambitions are. I mean, Babu Owino came out and made it very clear that, he wants to be considered as for the chairperson position. Joho did the same thing, Now, the problem with that is when you let your ambition be known, your dreams, your goals be known, it's easy to curtail them. It's easy to control you because now Ruto, who is the president, who has all the power, who has the perceived chairperson Oburu Odinga and all the top brass of the ODM party, he can simply make a call to Joho and tell him, Joho, listen, I know you want this position, whatever the case is. Ulikuwa unasema tunataka kuleta noma. Ulikuwa unasema utanikujia. Ulikuwa unasema sijui nini. Hey, I have a case that I can get open right now. I have something against you. Remember that dossier that Saitoti was reading in Parliament back in the day that got him killed? I can open it. I can reopen that case, and you might find yourself in a really bad place. So you better play ball, Babu Owino. Unapiga nyef hapa tisijui broad-based nini tulikuona kwa hiyo video ukichapa mtu. You see what I'm saying? And this what happens. I mean, you might be looking at me and saying, that cannot happen. Actually, it has happened before. Remember when Babu Owino was when Raila lost in 2017? against Uhuru Kenyatta. And Babu Owino and Gaucho, actually Babu Owino came out with the phrase that we now use, the long con game. And he said that Uhuru alimcheza, it was actually 2022. Okay? Remember even Babu Owino when Babu Owino verbally abused Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta akisema sijui mtoto wa umbo or whatever the case is, all right? What happened to Babu Owino? Okay? His case was reopened. He was arrested in Mombasa and his case was reopened. Akanyamaza for some months while negotiations were being made. Nyuma ya curtain, Uhuru Kenyatta had to usher him in an office and told him, hey, listen, kijana, unajifanya wewe ndio uko na let me tell you something, Mr. Babu Owino. We are the real colonial stooges around here. I have the direct line with King Charles. Okay, we are family buddies. We are the real overseers, caretakers of this land you call Kenya, of this corporation you call Kenya. Okay, so ukianza kuleta nyef hapo na nitukana sijui mimi ni mama sijui nani mtoto wa umbwa. Hey, ile kesi tunaweza tukaifungua na you might not get anywhere. So you better play ball. And after that, Babu Owino went and greeted Uhuru Kenyatta, akajifanya the whole fake, oh yeah, Uhuru is my friend, all this nonsense, whatever. So what I'm trying to say is this. William Samoei Ruto understands that all this noise does not make any sense. These people are just making noise. Kina Joho, Mbadi, Babu Owino. It's just to entertain the unsuspecting viewers. Okay? Now, what does this mean in the whole political field? What does this mean, this ODM stuff? What it means basically is that this is another way of how Ruto will justify the rigging of 2027 elections. I see Boniface Mwangi and others are now wanaanza kutype up, wanaanza kupost up what 2027 is going to be rigged. I keep on telling guys, I've been telling guys on my previous video. Why are you waiting see 2027 ndio mwanze kuamka ati mnasema ati sasa kura imeibiwa? I mean, we already know this kura inaenda kuibiwa. It's already written in stone. What are you waiting for? And you're still telling people at endeni kachukue kura, let's go take the vote, let's register and vote. Ati vijana not registering to vote, mara vijana's votes are being suppressed. I mean, this is a bunch of nonsense. What will it take you to realize that you cannot change a system by voting? Voting has never in history brought about an overhaul of a corrupt system. A system is always undone or is overhauled, revolutionized through force. Now, I'm not saying that in the Kenyan context we have to use force as far as violence. That is an option, but it's not the best option. We can use other means through popular revolution. People's popular revolution. People come out. We did it in June 25th, 2024. Come out and take out Ruto and establish a new government in place that is people-led. And the people are to be guided by the 2010 Constitution, which should be fully implemented as it was intended. Sio hii mchezo hii ambazo laws za ujinga ambazo zinapitishwa by these corrupt lawmakers. You understand what I'm saying? So when I hear you people post things like, ati sijui election shall be rigged in 2027, nini, save me that nonsense. This was already, we already knew this. Unasikia? So don't act surprised. Don't ask outrage. Usifanya ati sasa umekasirika ati I'm outraged by this. No. Don't waste your time with this. Okay? Now, I want to shift the focus a little bit to the Eastern African politics. as it relates to Kenya. As I told you, this channel is about Kenyan politics and world politics as it relates to Kenya. Tanzania, I told you why they were going for Suluhu. For those of you who have forgotten, they're going for Suluhu because Suluhu decided last year that they're banning the use of the US dollar in Tanzania. They were banning it. And if you know the history of countries that have always banned the use of the US dollar in the country, there's always violence that ensues after that decision. Iran is an example. Iran banned the use of the dollar, and you can see they already have problem with Israel. Israel wants to bomb them. Actually, already bombed them. Remember that vita ilitokea? Saddam Hussein, Martin, I think the revolution will come at the time. Don't expect anyway. Make sure what you play with later. Excuse me. Nice seeing you. Nice seeing you, Martin. Okay. Saddam Hussein, when he decided to stopped using the US dollar in selling his oil, he said he's going to sell it in euros. Walim Toa. Same thing with Libya. Gaddafi started talking about this whole idea of using its own currency, the black dollar, dumping the dollar. Wakamkujia, okay, even though he agreed to everything that they were accusing of, and every concession that he could make. So Suluhu did the same thing. Suluhu said, we are not using the dollar anymore. We need to strengthen our currency. And guess what? That's when the whole Tundu Lissu thing started. Now, I'm not saying Tundu Lissu is a bad guy, okay? But I don't know how connected Tundu Lissu is with the Western NGOs. I don't want to put that on him because personally, I do not know. But Suluhu probably looked at Tundu Lissu as somebody who's a Western-backed candidate, funded to weaken her government. So she did what she did, put her in prison, and you know the rest, okay? Now, the elections, we know about what happened in elections. I think they said she won by 96% or whatever the case is. I don't know. I didn't follow that elections closely. I don't know the actual sentiment within majority of Tanzanians because it's very hard to gauge this if you're kind of not there, okay? One thing I know is, and I told you before, is that they will make Suluhu unpopular and they will come for her because of the decision she made of banning US currency in Tanzania. They've done this. It's not the first time they're doing this. This is business as usual. They do, the Western part does. And that's why they're coming for Suluhu. And, I'm not going to say that I support the kind of force that was being used on the protesters, the deaths that has occurred. I don't know if it's 1,000 or 600, 800. I don't know. I'm against it, okay? But Suluhu is standing her ground. She's standing her ground. She's not buying the Western thing. Magufuli is a victim of this. We all know he wasn't playing ball when it came to that Ugonjwa. He said, our country is okay. We are good. And even before that, he has a confession that he made when he said that they tried to poison him before that. He gave a speech when he was talking to Mkapa, the former president, telling him that, hey, I couldn't believe these people coming for me. Because Magufuli was not playing ball by the Western script. So Suluhu, to me, when people are against Suluhu, and notice the people who are the loudest against Suluhu, the activists, the usual suspects that are being paid by these Western NGOs. You saw they held a press conference yesterday. I wish I could play it here. They were giggling while talking about Suluhu. Suluhu is not crazy. She's not lying when she says there are Kenyan activist who went to Tanzania to encourage the chaos that's happening there. She's not lying. She's not. Okay? If you look at the Boniface Mwangi, the Martha Karuas, that human rights, Khaled Mohammed, whatever his name is, and that Mzungu-looking lady that was sitting besides him, you could see they were reading a script. All these people are paid by NGOs in a campaign to smear campaign against Suluhu, so that they can take her out and have a puppet that does what, because Suluhu is very, very close to is a very close friend to the Namibian president, who is doing a wonderful job in Namibia. I forgot her name. Not Dambisa. I forgot her name. She's 60-something years old. Yule Mama wa Namibia. They paid off their debt. Okay? And she's very close. That Namibian president, Yule Mama wa Namibia, is very close friends to Ibrahim Traore. So you see the link. And these guys are very pro sovereignty. They want their countries to stay. They want to maintain the sovereignty of their own country. They want to be independent, self-reliant. And the West does not like that, because the West want to control your politics so that they can control your policies, so they can control your resources, so they can control your education, your healthcare, everything. You become a robot. That's why Suluhu is in trouble with the West. They cannot take her out militarily, because Suluhu is not, she's not violent. She doesn't have like a nuclear weapon, so they can't use that against her. So they have to finance the opposition and finance a popular revolution against her to try to overthrow her. And when she tries to fight back, they'll try to take her to ICC. That's why you saw Suluhu refuse to let the ICC people come in and do the whatever the case, because she knows wataanza cook the books and say, oh, Suluhu is a mass murderer. Alafu they will issue a warrant of arrest to put her in trouble. That's how they want to remove Suluhu. But she's standing her ground. Okay? Simply because Suluhu wants to do the right thing for Tanzania. And this is done by the help of the Kenyan activists. See, they cannot, the West cannot use Ruto directly or Museveni directly, because that will bring a conflict, an outright war. If Ruto's hands are traced into the instability that is happening in Tanzania, then that can mean war, okay? Because you're destabilizing another sovereign nation. So they have to use the activists, the Martha Karuas, the Boniface Mwangis, okay? Go look at that press conference that happened yesterday. I mean, it was comical. Why should a human rights head of human rights in Kenya comment on something that is happening in Tanzania? Don't you have enough human rights cases, violation cases in Kenya that you should be reporting about? What's your interest there? This is the same. Remember when they were going to Tanzania? Martha Karua and all them walikuwa na bebana wanaenda kwa airport huko tunajifanya ati utaenda Tunduliso. See what I'm saying? These are paid Western puppets used to destabilize any government, African administration that seeks to detach itself from the West. They use the Martha Karuas, they use the Boniface Mwangis, this fake activists. They pay them. Go look at the paper trail. It's no longer a secret. Okay? So that's why I'm saying I don't blame Suluhu for doing what she does. She's trying to protect herself. But look at how the media, especially these compromised Githeri media and the Western media, they're painting her as, they're even calling Amin Dada. Okay? They're painting as the evil person. The same thing they did with Amin. In hindsight, if you look at Idi Amin, what Idi Amin was doing, Idi Amin was actually a good guy. Yes, he was a dictator. But when we are talking about as somebody who was pro-Africa, pro-Uganda, pro-self-reliance, you know, Idi Amin was actually a really good leader. I'm sorry, go look behind, go look. Go look in the past. Do your history. It's amazing when you really look at what these people are doing. They were making up stories about him doing what, because the whole idea, they understand the power of what? The power of programming the minds of the masses to turn against a certain leader that they want to take out. Okay? Don't Kim, I see you. So that's what I'm saying. You have to be careful. When you see the West and these activists that we know are being paid by the West, start speaking against a certain leader, know that that leader is doing something that is against the West. Okay? They're pro the country. So that's what I wanted to say about that. As far as what else is happening, Mike Sonko and his daughter, I don't think that's silly news. I won't touch on that. These are sarakasi ambayo have no meaning, has no bearing on the lives of Kenyans. So there's nothing to add on that. But what I'll say again, with all this ODM stuff, Ruto is firmly in control of ODM. Okay? And again, I'm telling you, the die is cast. Ruto is going to win in 2027 because he has the IEBC fully controlled in his hands. Now, let's take a little shift on the so-called united or disunited opposition. Look at how things are shaping up. Let's look at how things are shaping up on the Ninio. Sasa tuko na wakina Kalonzo is still wishy-washy. One day he's with what's his name? Wamunyoro. And he's with Matiangi. The next day, he's kind of warming up to Ruto, kind of, anaenda huko Makueni, anaambia watu wa Makueni, it's okay, you can karibisha Ruto. You see what I'm saying? Kalonzo is not to be trusted. That's the thing with Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka is not somebody who can stand in his 2 feet and be strong. Okay? Na kuona Mabri hapo unaniambia umefika, karibu sana. Okay? And I've been always saying, if there was any time, I've been good, Mabri, karibu sana. Well, I took a little trip, na homa kidogo hapa, so I'm fighting the homa kidogo. But like I said, but karibu, nice seeing you, Mabri. It's been a while. I'll try to come mara mingi hapa. If there was any opportune moment for a presidential candidate, ninio yangu inakufa. Mabri, kwani wewe umeingia na ninio yangu imeanza kusema ati nimewaki na juice kidogo, inakufa. But nice seeing you, Mabri. Next time I'll bring you in, uniambie nini naendelea huko bwana. Nyinyi mnatesa, you are mistreating my friend there, Wanyiva. Ndeti. That is the boss lady. That's my ninio. That's But anyway, like I was saying about, let me talk about the united opposition. Martha Karua is nowhere to be seen, of course. Very soon you'll see her talk about Suluhu, because Martha Karua is fighting to stay relevant. She's Hannah support. Martha Karua is a busybody, okay? She wants to stay relevant. ni kama wale watoto wadogo ambao they want to be recognized. Unaona vile if you start dishing out sweets, unamwona anarukaruka hapo yapi, hey, mimi I'm also here, I'm also. But Martha Karua is useless. Okay? She doesn't count. Uhuru Kenyatta now is bringing the Mulima together, because now Uhuru Kenyatta is kind of are in one Ninio with Wamunyoro. Okay? But let me tell you, the Uhuru Kenyatta faction will not be enough to slow down Ruto. Okay? It will not be. Now, pay attention to what's happening in Mbere. Mbere is actually going to be a very good indication of how this united opposition is. Okay? Of course, there are people who are saying that, when is the election? On the 27th, right? November 27th, which is it next week or something? Mbere will be interesting. I want to see how Mbere plays out, but it will give you a glimpse of Ruto's influence in Central, which is not much, but we want to see the level of manipulation that Ruto can actually orchestrate in the by-elections in Mbere. So watch out for Mbere, because this is a good test for Nino. But I've always been telling you this, guys. Excuse me. I've always been saying this. All these political actors, all of them, it's a game that is being played. It's a game that is being played. All of these people have the same interest, and they're working towards the same thing. They're all ambitious, and they're only fighting for who can actually loot more than the other. Okay? Look at the United Opinion. Matiangi ndio huyo Same, Matiangi outside Kisii. Who is Matiangi? Okay? Matiangi outside the Kisii. Matiangi, who is Matiangi? The only reason Matiangi can get some support from Central, that is if Uhuru Kenyatta and Wamunyoro decide to endorse him to be the presidential candidate in 2027, which will not happen. Okay? Matiangi will not be a presidential. He'll be a presidential candidate, but he will not be the presidential candidate for the people of Mount Kenya. Okay? Mount Kenya, if they're going to vote, I see them shifting more towards Kalonzo. Kalonzo is more, like I said, as a leader, Kalonzo does not have that hana msimamo. He seems wishy-washy. Okay? But I keep on saying, if there was an opportunity for Kalonzo to make his name or make his case to be a presidential candidate, this is the moment. But of course, he's making all the wrong moves. Okay? He's making all the wrong moves. And he will end up in a broad-based government, or end up probably supporting Ruto. I'm telling you, Kalonzo has been out of government for so long, and he doesn't like it. So he wants to be part of something in the next dispensation, post-2027. So whether he's a presidential candidate in 2027, after that, probably he'll be part of some kind of arrangement, an agreement, or atapewa cheo. He will get a cheo, maybe become, I don't know, minister of something. Okay? But Kalonzo Musyoka, I think Kalonzo Musyoka, if there's an opposition, Kalonzo Musyoka can play that role, okay? Because he has that resume, not as a revolutionary or not as a reformist, or just by the fact that he's been there for a long time, sort of like what Raila was. Okay? Raila had a decorated history in politics. At one point, he was fighting for the liberation of Kenya, but of course, we kind of tuligundua kwamba mzee anatucheza. Okay? But regardless, the whole point is the resume was long enough, well decorated, bandamanos and all that stuff. Kalonzo, wishy-washy, watermelon, can't be trusted, but he can make the case as someone who has been in the opposition, has been trailing Raila Odinga and all that stuff, you know, na atoe ukali kidogo, and he can woo the Nino, because Wamunyoro is not going to be president. Wamunyoro, I mean, besides Mount Kenya, Wamunyoro, yeah. Mabri, catch me tomorrow asubuhi. I'll put the link for you. I have like 10% on my staff is dying, but I really want to hear from you. Kujanga mapema wewe na unaitishenga link mapema nikianza ndio nikuingize mara moja uniambie the updates. Unajua wewe ndio the senior correspondent hapa. So but yeah, namalizia tu, but I'll bring it. So like I said, on the united opposition, they already there's no one there. Like I say, Martha Karua is not a factor. Wamunyoro is limited by the damage he has already done by running around, you know, being anti-everybody and being only pro-Kikuyu, okay, pro-Mulema. You can't get any votes past Central Province. I literally, Babri is telling me that he thought I was kidnapped. Hi, jamani. Mimi wangeni kidnap ningekuwa nimeshaenda Zayun bwana. Hata mngeniona hapa. Lakini before ni kidnap, mimi hata wakijaribu kukidnap, yule mtu atakuja kunikidnap atakuwa amekufa before anipeleke mahali. Okay? Kwa sababu sisi tunakaanga na ile kitu. But anyway, that's what I want to talk about. So like I said, if you look at the opposition, we have Kalonzo of all Sawa Mabri. Like, share, comment, and do all that good stuff. Okay, subscribe. So like I say, Martha Karua is not a factor. Nobody's going to vote for Martha Karua. Wamunyoro, he limited himself by playing this parochial politics. You know, mambo ya Murima. Okay, so he can't get a vote past anywhere Mulema Nation. Okay. Who else? Matiang'i is a Kisii tribal chieftain. Another one. Excuse me. His history, we all know his history. Okay? He's not different from Ruto, if not worse than Ruto. I mean, I laugh when I see Matiang'i talk about, oh, nobody's following the law, the constitution, and you in it. Matiang'i. So, and he doesn't have the appeal. I mean, if you look at Matiang'i, amenona ni mfupi, he looks like Idi Amin. Amekaa tuka headmaster nataka kuchapa mtu. I mean, there's nothing appealing about Matiang'i. Alafu anazungumza like there's nothing appealing about Matiang'i, I'm telling you. Okay? Who else? Eugene Wamalwa ni kama mtoto. I mean, no one wakes up and say mimi nataka kwenda kupigia Eugene Wamalwa kura. I want to go see Eugene Wamalwa. You see what I'm saying? Hana appeal. Alafu mtu wa Tawe look like a village rabble rouser. Ni wale watu wanapiga makelele huko Tawe, hata sisi Waluya tumewachwa sijui. But you don't see any, like, as far as the national appeal, they do not have that national appeal. Yes, you're right, Mabri. It's more than two sides of the coin. Absolutely. I'm just highlighting what's happening. Then I'll bring it together. And I'm finishing in like 5 minutes or less. Okay? Then that's why I'm saying, of all the people, even though Kalonzo ni Kigeugeu is, he has that history. I don't know, okay. But again, people don't see Kalonzo as somebody who can bring real change. Okay? But he's palatable politically. You know, ni mtu unaweza kuangalia usikie at least sentence, you know he's full of it, but you know, he looks the part, he plays the part. Clean cut, kipara yake naona kaa inaishaisha, ni Appalachia inamshika, nywele inapotea, but you know, he looks the part. Okay, then the fact that he has been Raila's deputy or whatever, playboy for a while, it gives him some credits, okay? But really, as far as being, you see what I'm saying? And Ruto now, like I say, that's what I'm saying, Ruto has this on lock. hata kama akishindwa, he has enough reason to justify his rigging. I'm not saying rigging an election is justifiable. I'm just saying he has the backup reason to say, okay, Wajaluo walipigia ndio kura kwa sababu unaona Uburu alinidio hapo. Niko na Joho hapo. Okay? See what I'm saying? Where's the wrong? Yeah. Sawa. Okay. Hold that thought, Mabri. Next time the next time nikiingia nitakuwekea link unieleze. Sawa. So all these things that I'm explaining are a reason why we need an organic, grassroots, revolutionary movement. People-based, people-designed, people advocated. Let the people be the voice and choose their own leaders. Because all these leaders, in a nutshell, if you hear what I just been explaining for the past hour, these people only care about their personal ambition. None of them, even in that ODM, all of them were just talking about, ukitutoa kwa serikali. If you do this, no one was talking about, how about the wananchi? None of them. They were all about their personal. Even Babu Owino talking about, hey, hata mimi mpaka, what consider? What is wrong with me? Mbona mimi is quite considered as the chairperson of the... You see what I'm saying? It's all about personal ambition. It's not about serving the people. It's not about upholding the law, the constitution. Something that should work for the people. Okay? So that's why I'm making the case. That's the very reason why the silent majority, the Gen Zs, the people of Kenya, should rise up and stand up and say, enough of these clown shows, enough of these politicians. We should have a clean slate. Let's take everybody out, starting from Ruto, Gachagua, Martha Karua, Kalonzo, Oburu, name it, Babu Owino, all of them. Sifuna, New Sarakasi. I'll leave it here because I have to cough. Like I say, I'm under the weather. I'm not 100%, but I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully I'll feel much better. And we'll have more discussion. And hopefully Mabri will join me so anipatia habari moto moto. Ama namna gani? Do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen. Like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and blessings.